I like to use my walnut tree as a barometer of how autumn is progressing. As the leaves fall off the trees in our yard, we actually get our lake view back again. And I just noticed that if I look at the mountains over there, I don't know if you can see because it's kind of cloudy, but there's snow up on the hills. It's time for my new waterproof hikers in the lovely teal colour, and new gel insoles as well. I'm at my friend's place now, and she has a fantastic view of the lake and mountains. Hello Vlogtoberers. I'm just in my car driving home from having tea with my friend and getting some groceries at the supermarket. It's a bit chilly today. My car is saying it's 6 outside, so I kept my hat on. It's very comfortable. Going to be very tempting just to leave it on for the rest of the day, I think. It's handy to have a colourful hat when you're dressed all in boring neutrals on the rest of your body. Adds a bit of colour. And I do like colour. Very overcast today. There was a hint of sunshine earlier. I managed to get a sweep of film from my friend's deck. She has the most amazing view from her deck of the lake and the mountains across the lake, and the snow line is pretty damn low now. So yeah, the snow line's got pretty low. It may well melt again before we get the next flurry up in the hills. It'll be a while till it's down at our level, I should imagine. You're going to be bouncing around quite a bit, aren't you? The roads are so potholy at this time of the year. I mean, what do we pay our horrendously high taxes for in Canada if not for keeping the roads nice and drivable, eh? Okay, time to unload the groceries. Back home. Put the groceries away. Cooked the black beans for tonight's burgers. Made a big bowl of coleslaw. That one will probably last multiple days. Had to finish the red cabbage before it went grotty. So I've probably got red cabbage stained fingernails now. Made myself a cup of chai tea. And there's no rush to carry on with dinner because my husband's out of town and he hasn't let me know that he's on his way back yet. Or maybe he has and I just missed it. I could have missed a text. I should probably check afterwards. So while I was at my friend's this morning, I was working on the sleeves of the baby cardigan. And while I was working on it and getting to the end of the first sleeve, I thought, the sleeves look like they're really long. Let me show you the picture in the pattern. No, I can't. I didn't print out that picture. I looked at the Ravelry pattern page, and I'll put a link to that afterwards when I upload this to YouTube. I looked at the pattern page picture, and the sleeves were really long. And I just feel like when it's a small baby, or even a big baby, they tend to put their hands in their mouths a lot. If they're getting to the point where they're eating solid food, they need to be able to make a mess with their hands and get it all over their face. And long sleeves are just going to get in the way. So I'm going to err on the side of making the sleeves a bit short. So I stopped crocheting this one about, let me see, 5, 10, 12. So I was supposed to do 16 rounds plain between the first one where you get the right number of stitches at the beginning of the sleeve and the little ribbed part at the bottom of the cuff. You're supposed to have 16 rows, and I did 12. So I did the sleeve 4 rounds shorter, so obviously I'm going to make the other one to match. But if I didn't, that would be weird, right? So it was nice having something to do with my hands, because I find it really hard just to sit and not have anything to do with my hands. How do people who don't knit or crochet manage? Once knitting and crochet became a luxury rather than a necessity to keep ourselves clothed, it really has just become a way for all of us to be a little less fidgety when we are supposed to be sitting still, or be a bit more productive when we're watching TV. I certainly enjoy having something to do while I'm watching Netflix. I just remembered one of the things I was going to say then. I was just doing my food prep and cleaning up the kitchen, getting the dishwasher running, and I put YouTube music on. One of my kids has thoughtfully paid for the family to have YouTube Premium. So that means that when I watch videos on that account and listen to music, I don't have those awful ads. It's so nice. I don't listen to music a huge amount. I tend to prefer visual things like movies and TV shows. But when I am cooking, sometimes it's nice to put some music on. And what I normally do is I look for a playlist like 70s or 80s or something like that. And what's fun about that is you get to boogie on down in your kitchen to all these songs. Today it was the 70s. And the funny thing is that you then realize how old you are. One of the things you realize when you are bopping along to 70s music is how long ago it was. OMG, a long time ago. So I hit my disco going years in the late 70s, and what a great time it was. I mean, being a teenager is kind of challenging, but disco music, oh, Bee Gees, oh, Yvonne Elliman, oh, all awesome. So listening to the 70s music now, oh, boy, does it take you back. And it's fine as long as you don't remember that it was 50 odd years ago. 50 years ago? Okay, so if I was 16 in 1978, 98, 2008, 2018, 45 years ago. 45 years ago, I was 16. Oh man. That's hard to believe. I remember I was not one of the cool kids either. I was definitely very awkward, very self-conscious, very shy. It took a tremendous amount of effort to actually get myself on a dance floor. My high school occasionally had mini discos in a lunch time. I don't know how often it happened, but that was basically where I started dancing to music, popular music. And it does feel so weird when you do it for the first time. And then, of course, there were the discos, the teenage discos, where we'd go maybe on a Friday or Saturday night My dad would also always pick me up from it afterwards. And then you started wearing stuff that you thought was a little bit cooler. And then you think back thinking, oh God, what did I look like? What did I look like? I think that's part of being older, isn't it? You look back on hairstyles or makeup fashions or the clothing of the day and you cringe. It's much nicer using this yarn in the daylight. I was working on it quite a bit last night, and the yarn is really dark in places. Of course, I had that adjustment yesterday, didn't I, where I got the new coloured elastics on my braces, and my mouth is a little bit sore today. Chewing is a little bit more uncomfortable at the moment. It's only temporary. I'm very aware of it when I eat. So the maximum temperature was about 6 today, I think. And it's supposed to go down to -3 tonight. Probably explains why we can see the snow line now up on the hillsides. You will have seen a little bit of film of that earlier. Always quite exciting watching the snow line get lower and lower as we get into winter. My husband put the snow tires on our cars on the weekend. All right, now for the last round. It's interesting actually how the designer said to do this. It was quite clever actually. She allowed for the fact that when you're working crochet in the round, you get a visible line where your joined rounds are. And so she has you starting at the armpit, which is where I would normally have started for both sleeves, but she has you starting at the armpit for the left sleeve, but at the top of the shoulder for the right sleeve. And that, I realized, is so that this sort of diagonal, don't like to call it a seam line, but you know what I mean. It comes on the back of the sleeve where it's less likely to be noticeable. I thought that was quite clever. We were just interrupted by my husband calling to say he's about an hour out. So that's okay, because it means I can finish this round and then I can go grab the beans out of the pressure cooker and blitz them in the food processor with some breadcrumbs and some walnuts and some herbs and stuff. Make some burgers to go in the buns that I've got. There we go, the second sleeve finished. That was good timing. I have finished the sweater up to the sleeves now. So there's a hood to add and then a little bit of finishing around this front neckline. And that's it. And I'm pretty sure the sleeves are going to be plenty long enough. All right then, time to get back to the kitchen. Talk later. Once again, another October day comes to an end. I'm loving watching the fall changes. Not only are all the leaves almost off my walnut tree, mostly sitting on the ground, some flying into the neighbour's yard, but we now have some snow on the distant mountains. So you know the cold weather's coming when that happens. But we're always ready for it. We've got good heating. I've got lots of warm clothes that I have sewn or knitted or crocheted. And I do love winter evenings. Dark winter evenings are my favourite. This evening, my entertainment involved watching another episode of Bodies on Netflix. I'm figuring some of it out, but there's still a lot that's a mystery. And watching an hour of a Patreon video from Kate at the Last Homely House. She does a monthly diary for her Patreons, and so I watched the October one tonight. It was an hour long. So that's always entertaining. It's nice to see her. She lives in Yorkshire. No, she doesn't. She lives in Northumberland in England. I've never been that far north in England. But one of the things I would love is when my husband retires and we have more time to travel, would be to do a big tour of England, Wales, Scotland, maybe Ireland. Because even though I'm from the British Isles, there's so much I haven't seen yet. And it would just be amazing. Did you like seeing my friend's cat, Jellybean? He's an old guy. He's 15. He's the last cat in her household, the last one of many rescues. She's had a lot of cats in the past. Unfortunately, it's just him now. And she also has a small dog. So she's down to 2 pets, which is not many for her at all. But he's such a gorgeous cat and he loves being petted. So I was able to give him a good old scritch around the ears earlier and he really enjoyed it, which I appreciated being allowed to do. I also have a theory that if you feature a cat in a vlog, that it's going to triple your ratings. So I'm testing that theory now. I'm even using him as a thumbnail. And I reckon my views will triple. And we're going to see if that theory comes true over the next couple of days. If it does, I'll just have to laugh because I don't have a cat of my own and I'll just have to borrow other people's cats so that I can make my vlog more appealing. Okay, I'm heading off now. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.